Yo lad, how's your first driving lesson? Yeah, not bad, went a bit sideways though. What do you mean, went a bit sideways? Welcome back to This Week in Motoring, where we look at everything that's happened in motoring this week. We're going to start with livery reveals, as all of them are now out, and we're going to do it in 10 seconds, because you've already heard everyone's opinion, and you don't need another one. Haas, above average. Red Bull's the same. Alphas look strangely tasty. AlphaTauri has blade wheels. Williams is blue. McLaren's the same. Aston's the same. Ferrari is hot. Merc is sexy, and Alpine had 2.
I got 2
liveries.
Moving away from different liveries now and on to Red Bull, who have announced they're going to be joining forces with Ford for the 2026 season and onwards. Ford will take over from Honda for supplying engines to Red Bull and the AlphaTauri team, and this has left many rumours about what Honda's going to do from the 2026 season. The big one is that they've already made contact with McLaren about forming a partnership from 2026 onwards. However, after last time, McLaren have some, well, issues. Sticking with Red Bull, and Christian Horner believes that for F1 to succeed in the US, there needs to be an American Max Verstappen. What Christian unfortunately doesn't realise here though, is that Americans are only good at sports they create. American football, baseball, basketball, they're not actually good at any other sports. However, after his outfit to the Red Bull launch, I don't think he deserves an opinion, so it doesn't count. Keeping with Red Bull, and Max Verstappen has announced his partnership with EA Sports. This means that next year's F1 game, Hamilton's rating is going to be in the gutter.
I walk a lonely road, the only one that I have ever known.
Fernando Alonso has once again proved he's on some sort of substance, as he claims that Lance Stroll is World Championship material. Although I think media have heavily edited this quote, and what he actually said was, when Lance Stroll is in a race car, he wears the same material as world champions. However, he will never ever be a world champion because he's fucking useless.
To the hairpin. And hitting the barriers as well, Lance.
Ferrari's new front wing, which was previously banned at the Austin Grand Prix on the Merc, has now been allowed, which has sent Mercedes fanboys into meltdown. And no one cares, they're always in meltdown about everything, all the time. This isn't news.
It's just that life is pointless and nothing matters.
Charles Leclerc has said that he's focused on the 2023 season with no new contract talks on the horizon. And what he actually meant was, fuck me around this season, Fred, and I'll be gone quicker than your hair. After Mercedes took the W14 around Silverstone at their car launch, Russell was asked about porpoising, and he replied that you'll see next week, meaning it probably drives like a fucking space hopper.
Stacked it down the main straight. Here comes Ricciardo. It's going to be
Toto Wolff has said that Red Bull's wind tunnel penalty could give Mercedes an edge in the title fight. However, what he actually means is they're not going to be 1 second slower, they're going to be 9/10 slower. The FIA, in their infinite wisdom, have made a U-turn on their political messages rule, and now drivers can spread their message during the weekend. However, they're not allowed to do it on track or on the podium due to quote-unquote safety reasons. This comes after everyone and their nan bashed the FIA for the new rule. Furthermore, FIA President Ben Sulayem is hopeful for an Indian Grand Prix, as he looks to push for more motorsport in India. This comes after the 4th round of Formula E, which just took place in India. Now, I wasn't going to cover this until I found out about something which takes place on the island of Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is a small island just off the coast of India, and they have a thing called tuk-tuk racing, which is where someone drives a tuk-tuk and then someone sits in the back and jumps about the gaff trying to keep it from falling over. And it's genuinely the most incredible sport I've ever seen. Moving on to even stranger news, and Alpine have revealed their new ambassador, Zinedine Zidane, and they have said that everything will be fine as long as no one mentions his sister.
Zinedine Zidane.
Gasly has said there is no limit to what he can achieve at Alpine, although given what happened last season, the Renault engine might have a say in that.
do the work they need to.
Rumours are spreading that McLaren aren't exactly happy with their base car. They are relying on mega upgrades to come through for the 2023 season, or they're going to be drastically off the pace. And this is beginning to sound a bit like another circumstance.
Engine. TV2.
Moving away from F1 now and onto the 24 Hours of Le Mans, where commentary track from 2022 has resurfaced, where commentators discuss an interesting alternative to cake.
And if you are listening, kids, if they're saying you can't have cake, the only alternative to cake at, what is this, 2:30 in the morning? No, it's not that.
Moving away from the real world and onto the virtual one, where very recently, after the Verstappen meltdown at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, yet more controversy has come in the esports world. To start with, Williams Esports have decided that their sponsors were more important than track limits, and during qualifying used an illegal part of the track to gain a 2/10 advantage in the Daytona 24. Then, during the race, one of the lapped cars sat by the pit exit waiting for the leading car to come round. Once the lead car was there, the sister Williams car got in the way of its opponents to give Williams a better chance of winning. Then, instead of apologising, they doubled down by sending Jenson Button to defend them on Twitter, before getting absolutely bombarded with backlash and being forced into a cop-out apology.
Oh, sorry, oh, I'm sorry, don't hurt me, sorry.
And the controversies don't end there for the sim racing world, as F1 Esports League have become plagued with cheaters using a variety of cheats to take the most unholy lines and still qualify pole. Moving away from motorsport and onto the real world, where Tesla have had to recall over 350,000 cars due to a flaw in their self-driving.
Check this pedestrian here. Check it out. And it even can detect the difference between a sedan and a pickup truck.
Now, as it's coming towards the end of the month, I thought we'd take a look at what cars have come out during the month. First of all, we look at the new Alfa Romeo Giulia, a small SUV for people who want to believe they're a higher class than they are. Next up, the new Citroën EC4X, which comes with a larger boot, more legroom and a range of 224 miles. All while still being a Citroën, which just means it's fucking boring. Moving away to something definitely more interesting, the Ferrari SP3 Daytona, a 6.5 litre naturally aspirated V12 producing just over 825 horsepower and a 0-60 of 2.9 seconds, which is an absolute beast. If you want to be a bit more classy, the AMG C63E from Mercedes, a hybrid engine of a 4-cylinder 2-litre engine which produces 469 horsepower and a 201 brake horsepower electric motor. All of this though does mean it weighs just over 2 tons, which means it's still lighter than your mum. And rounding out the cars due to release in February, the Porsche 911 GT3 RS, which has a naturally aspirated 4.0 litres flat 6, produces just under 520 brake horsepower and a 0-60 of 3.2 seconds. And it also boasts the largest rear wing ever fitted to a road car. However, it's still smaller than your mum.